Man's easy acceptance of adultery, Val, you should not be surprised.
How would you describe the impact of adultery in the modern day society?
Adultery is ungodly, whichever way you look at it.
Welcome to Noble TV Live. My name is Valentine Agogo, and I'm here on set today with Mr. Gray Almona. You're welcome, sir.
Great to be here with you.
Okay, sir, in your own words, yes. I'm here to tap from your abundance of wisdom. Same with my viewer out there. Okay. In your own words, how would you describe the act of adultery?
Adultery, the picture, on that unusual regression of man, because that's unusual. The picture comes easily from biblical information.
Okay.
That's it. Then the law, borrows from that biblical information. And okay. Biblical information is about the basic thing about human life. We had a parish priest of a well-known Catholic church, the Capital Territory, Reverend Father Professor Chukweku Sylvester Woto. He wrote a timeless classic, The Dignity of the Human Person.
Okay. That's
the title, The Dignity of the Human Person. And Father Woto gave a graphic and compelling picture, of the do's and don'ts that hinge on the human person. And he said, the anthropological, ethical, and theological foundations for human dignity. So the Bible gives us information, basic information on adultery. And the information it gives us is a no-go area. So adultery is the ungodly thought. That's the interesting thing about the epistemology of adultery. It's not just the act.
Okay.
Because our creator, our maker, kind and forgiving, but also very practical, Jesus Christ. See, once you harbor thoughts, the thought train, you have already committed the act. So it's the ungodly thought and act of sexual union with a married individual.
Okay.
Look at the modifier.
Yeah, married individual. In our society today, yes. Growing up, it used to be a thing of men, basically, all right, indulging in adultery, yes. And getting away with it like 95 or 99% of the time, yes. Because according to our locality, it's a man's world. Globally, it's a man's world. Yes. Always getting away with it. But very recently, in recent times, 21st century, yes. We see it happen on both ends. Yes. Very rampantly. Okay, so how would you see the society's response and acceptance to both the thoughts and the act of adultery? Because if it has not crept into the system in full, yes. It will not be increasing in such a way that the women now see it as a normal thing, no longer a thing of the men that has to be condemned. Yes. As a matter of fact, the men even pride in it. They show off. Yes. Yeah, they are in the process and the whole thing. Yes. So how would you describe the impact of adultery in the modern day society? Okay. How it was then and how it is right now? Okay. There's nothing modern about modern society. All right. Because what is modern is only in the objective sense. Because somehow you say the present is superior to the past because we cannot cognize the past. Our only contact with the past is only at the astral level when you dream. But to bring the past to reality, to touch it, is no longer possible. You only touch the present, and what are the snippets of the present? The media, your acquaintances, all the different layers of the present reality. So, man's easy acceptance of adultery, Val, you should not be surprised. Never in the history of mankind. That's why I told you about Reverend Father Chukweku Woto's book, the anthropological, theological, and ethical foundations for human dignity. That book is a must read. You try and access it because Woto is a genius. He reflected copiously on
aspects of human damnation. You look at the law. The law went to the Bible to pick it. Look at the things that the law picked, regarding the Ten Commandments. It picked murder. Thou shalt not kill. You know the case about killing in law, criminal law. Thou shalt not steal. Stealing, whether it's a grand larceny or petty larceny, is criminal. Adultery is unforgivable. So man has embraced it. That's why I say modern. What is modern about modern society? Is modern society that will have banditry, that will have racism,
that will have ritual killings,
international violence. The other day, Palestinian guerrillas went to Israel, knocking from door to door and murdering children and women. Prompting the Israeli, foreign minister in Nigeria, Mr. Freeman, to say that why they maximize avoidance of killing children and women, Palestinians maximize the crime. So modern society has never been as perverse as we have today. People celebrate murder. People celebrate ritual killing. You are married and you have, I said adultery, the cognition about adultery ought to, be two-dimensional. We're only looking at it purely in the opportunistic sense. That's the act. Yeah. Jesus said, once you start nursing funny ideas about a woman, cognizing, imagining, you have already committed it. So the act itself is just what the law calls fait accompli. The act has been committed. So man, because when we say man, it includes men and women. There are certain communities. Adultery is normal. It's institutionalized. There are certain communities, the spouse, he travels. Before the spouse returns, the woman don't land many children. So we will gladly accept them. So what do you make of that kind of, different strokes in the history of mankind? Then, in certain aspects of urban society today, the restraints on adulterous behavior are being relaxed by the day. Because I don't know whether it's because of the economic malaise in world society, so much so that we don't know where it starts and where it begins, where it ends.
What would you say are some of the
causes?
Challenges.
Okay, challenges.
The challenges, all right, of both the spiritual, the financial, emotional challenges in an adulterous affair.
Well, when you talk about spiritual, emotional, financial, let's start with the spiritual. The spiritual challenges, you have committed an act against the law of God.
Okay.
So that one is waiting for you. Metaphysics calls karma.
Okay.
You must confront the karma.
All right.
Emotional, you are so haunted by the thought and act. And then the other one, financial, that's economic. In economic, finance is a constituent of the economy. The economic challenges relative to adultery are about the conscious act of engaging in it, because you need money, you need to be bailed out. No, there's one piece of folklore, in Okwani folklore, because a part of the body, is itching you. You don't have to now cause a kind of like a scar or an injury on your skin, because there's an itch. Economic challenges cannot force you to commit an act against the law of God. Adultery is ungodly, whichever way we look at it. And there's nothing like modernity, because you cannot be today. Are we not battling with a society that is struggling to be naked? I mean, competing for nudity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
justifiable.
One final word. One final word to someone dealing with an adulterous affair and wishes to come out of it. And what will be your best advice for that person? Someone caught in the jigsaw of adultery, but wishing to come out of it. Remember the prodigal son. If the person actually determines seriously to come out of it, that means to start another phase in his or her own life. It is possible for individuals. Okay, should the person just stop or should confess before stopping?
Of course, I'm proudly Catholic, and I use my own liturgical background to argue. You seek audience, with the priest.
Okay, you're talking about the priest, not to your spouse.
Oh, okay, to the no, that one is, first of all, yes, that's the charity begins at home. It depends on the gender, of course, because you said so men are glibly engaged in it without feeling, no sense of compunction. But once the woman is caught, Patricia, don't do this and this. But you know that the man is doing it, and it tells you about, especially in our own indigenous African society, our worship of the male ego, pushes the woman to the wall, and it is very unfair. Either case, whether it's a man or woman, confess to your spouse, then you go to the priest.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yes. So that's as much as we can take for this episode. I also have some other guests to deliberate on this same topic coming up shortly. I have a pastor in the house and some other folks. So Mr. Gray Almona has given us a very deep insight into some foundational backgrounds about adultery and how it relates to the law and of course to the society at large. And something I learned from my interview with Mr. Gray is that there's actually nothing modern about the modern society. All right, so I think I'll take that home with me. Please do like, share, drop your comments, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button for similar prompt updates. Thank you.